I'm Katie, and as your safety trainer, today we're going to delve into a topic that's essential for anyone working around chemicals: the revised OSHA Hazard Communication Standard. This is a big deal in the world of workplace safety, especially if you're regularly dealing with chemicals. So what's this all about? OSHA, which stands for the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, has made some important changes to the Hazard Communication Standard. These changes are designed to align with the United Nations globally harmonized system of classification and labeling of chemicals, commonly known as GHS. But why is this important? Well, it's all about improving the quality and consistency of how we communicate about hazards in the workplace. When it comes to chemicals, being on the same page, no matter where you are in the world, is crucial for safety. Hazard communication is more than just labels on a bottle. It's about ensuring that every worker understands the risks associated with the chemicals they encounter on the job. With this revision, we're taking a big step towards making workplaces safer and more informed environments. So let's dive into what these changes mean and how they affect you in your daily work. In our journey through the realm of workplace safety, particularly when it comes to handling hazardous chemicals, there's a critical component that we need to discuss: the Hazard Communication Program. This isn't just a good practice, it's a must. This written program is your roadmap for managing chemical hazards on site. It covers key areas like how to label chemicals clearly, keeping up-to-date safety data sheets, and ensuring everyone is informed about the risks and safety practices. It's about making your workplace safer and keeping everyone clued in on chemical safety. This program isn't just a formality, it's a crucial part of your daily safety protocol. Let's dive into how this keeps you and your colleagues safe every day. In the world of handling hazardous chemicals, safety data sheets, or SDSs, play a pivotal role. Under the Hazard Communication Standard, anyone who manufactures, distributes, or imports chemicals must provide these sheets. They're essential tools for communicating the hazards of these chemical products. You might remember them as Material Safety Data Sheets, or MSDSs, but they're evolved. Now the HCS mandates that these SDSs follow uniform format. This standardization is a big step forward in ensuring clarity and consistency in hazard communication. For a deeper dive into safety data sheets, I highly recommend checking out our safety lesson titled Hazard Communication Safety Data Sheets, or SDS. It'll give you a more comprehensive understanding of what SDSs contain and how they can be used effectively in your workplace. Remember, being familiar with SDSs is not just about regulatory compliance, it's about equipping yourself with the knowledge to handle chemicals safely and responsibly. When it comes to handling hazardous chemicals, proper labeling is key. Under the Hazard Communication Standard, or HCS, there are specific requirements for how these chemicals should be labeled. This isn't just about sticking a label on a bottle, it's about ensuring that each label provides essential information in a clear and standardized way. So what should be on these labels? First, there's a signal word or words. These are designed to immediately grab your attention and give you an idea of the severity of the hazard. Next, pictograms come into play. These are simple, universal symbols that quickly convey specific hazard information. The manufacturer's information is also crucial. This includes details like who made the chemical, so there's no confusion about its source. Then there are precautionary statements and first aid instructions. These are your go-to guidelines for how to handle the chemical safely and what to do in case of exposure. You'll also find hazard statements on these labels. These statements describe the nature of the hazard in clear terms. And lastly, each label includes the product identifier or name, so you always know exactly what you're dealing with. For a more in-depth understanding of labeling requirements, I recommend our safety lesson titled Hazard Communication GHS Labels. It's a great resource to get familiar with the ins and outs of chemical labeling under the GHS system. Remember, these labels are more than just mandatory information. They're a crucial part of ensuring safety in any environment where hazardous chemicals are present. An essential element in managing hazardous chemicals is maintaining a chemical inventory list. This isn't just a checklist, It's a crucial tool that helps keep track of all the chemicals on site. Here's what you need to know. This inventory list should always be up to date and easily accessible. It's important that every employee knows where to find the list, but it's not just about the list itself. Alongside each chemical mentioned, there should be a corresponding safety data sheet, or SDS, which provides detailed information about the chemical, including its hazards and safety measures. If you're unsure about where to find this inventory list or the SDSs, or if you have any questions about them, your supervisor is the person to talk to. They can provide you with the necessary information and guidance. When working with chemicals, it's essential to follow safe work practices to ensure not just your own safety, but also that of your colleagues. Here's a rundown of what you need to keep in mind. First and foremost, be well informed about the chemical hazards in your work area. Knowledge is key to prevention. Always know where to find hazard communication materials like safety data sheets, SDSs, and labels. Before you handle any chemicals, make sure you've reviewed the relevant SDS and have received proper training. Each chemical substance should have an SDS, and it's important to comply with the guidelines for safe use, handling, and storage as outlined in these sheets. If you notice that a chemical substance doesn't have an SDS, or if the SDS is outdated, let your supervisor know. The same goes for labels. Don't handle chemicals or containers if they're not labeled, or if you're unsure about how to read the labels. Every container of a chemical substance should be clearly labeled, and these labels must be kept up to date. They should follow the GHS format, which includes essential information like signal words, pictograms, manufacturer information, precautionary statements, hazard statements, and the product's name. Always follow the instructions on the labels and use the appropriate precautionary measures such as personal protective equipment or PPE. Remember, labels are there for a reason, so don't remove, alter, or deface them. Finally, if you come across a chemical substance with a missing or defective label, inform your supervisor right away. By adhering to these safe work practices, you're playing a crucial role in maintaining a safe work environment, especially when dealing with potentially hazardous chemicals. In wrapping up today's lesson on hazard communication, let's emphasize the importance of this topic in ensuring a safe workplace. Effective communication about hazards, especially when it comes to chemical substances, is not just a compliance issue. It's a fundamental aspect of workplace safety. Every employee has a role to play in this. By actively participating in your company's hazard communication procedures and adhering to safe work practices, you're contributing to a safer work environment for everyone. It's about being informed, vigilant, and proactive. Remember, the information and practices we've discussed today are crucial for your safety and the safety of those around you. Staying informed and following these guidelines are key steps in protecting yourself and your colleagues from potential hazards. That's all for today's lesson. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to follow us on social media for more safety tips and updates. Stay safe out there.
Crown Battery uses HMIS labels for its portable containers in the plant. HMIS stands for Hazardous Material Information System, an easy-to-read labeling system which uses a numeric scale to tell you the hazard level of the chemical. The scale goes from 0 to 4, with 0 indicating no hazard and 4 indicating a serious hazard. Labels are available at the parts cage. If there is a chemical container in your area with no label or a label that has become illegible, please obtain a label from the parts cage and relabel the container. If you're not sure of what codes go on the label, just ask your supervisor or anyone from the HSE department.
Safety data sheets. Safety data sheets, or SDS, have 16 sections which describe hazards, protective equipment, safe handling, spill cleanup, and more. You can access safety data sheets at Crown Battery in several ways. View and print SDS using the kiosks in the cafeterias or in the industrial conference room. Hardbound copies of safety data sheets can be viewed in all supervisor offices, or ask anyone from the HSE department and we will print you out a copy.
Site-specific hazards. Crown Battery uses two primary hazardous materials, lead and sulfuric acid. Lead has already been reviewed. Sulfuric acid is a colorless, oily liquid which in its concentrated state has fumes which are corrosive to the lungs and can be fatal if inhaled. Concentrated sulfuric is highly reactive and incompatible with many common chemicals. Concentrated sulfuric acid even reacts violently with water. Always remember, do as you oughta, add acid to water. Never add water to concentrated sulfuric acid, as adding water directly to the acid can cause the water to boil and the acid to splash up into your face. Remember that sulfuric acid is corrosive and can cause severe skin burns and eye damage. Concentrated sulfuric acid mists have also been found to be carcinogenic. Sulfuric acid mist fumes have been monitored in Crown Battery and found to be below OSHA's permissible exposure limit of 1 milligram per meter cube and the ACGIH's recommended exposure limit of 0.2 milligrams per meter cubed. People who find the acid fumes irritating can obtain sets of cartridges which filter acid mist from the parse cage upon request. If you have any questions about sulfuric acid, lead, or any hazardous material at Crown Battery, please ask at the Health, Safety, and Environmental Department.
If your eyes or skin are splashed with acid, immediately go to the nearest eye wash station to flush the infected area. Ask for help from your coworkers if you need assistance getting to the eye wash station, and have that coworker notify your supervisor right away. Flush the infected area for at least 20 minutes or until the irritation has stopped. In the rare event that your clothes are exposed to a large amount of acid, just go directly to the locker room, remove the contaminated clothes, and get in the shower. And as always, notify your supervisor as soon as possible. Report to the wellness coordinator if further medical attention is needed.